Today we are going to talk about box and whisker plots. So what is a box and whisker plot? So a box and whisker plot shows a distribution of data. So a box and whisker will look something like this that you see up at the top. Now, there are 5 parts to a box and whisker. There's the minimum, there's the maximum. So that means the highest and lowest data points in the set of data. There's the first quartile. Here, let's put that in a better spot. First quartile. Now, the first quartile is also known as the 25th percentile. So if you see something that asks you what is the 25th percentile, you'll be able to answer that question. So the middle, well, not so much the middle, the line that's in between the first quartile and the third quartile, that's going to be the median. We know the median is the middle number, which would also be, if you see in a question, the 50th percentile. And then we have our third quartile, also known as the 75th percentile. There's 2 different ways that they can ask these questions, so that's why I want to make sure you have that information. So let's take a look at how to read these box and whisker plots. So if we take a look at number 1, according to the box and whisker plot shown at the right, what are 5 statistical summary values? The median. So remember, the median is the one that's going to be in the box here. So here's my median. So that would be 80. The first quartile. Remember, the first quartile is the first line that makes up my box. So that would be 70. The third quartile is the last line that makes up my box, and that's at 90. The minimum value, that's going to be where your dot is at the end of your whisker, which is at 65. And last but not least, we have the maximum value, that's going to be at 100. So reading these box and whisker plots are really not too difficult as long as you know the parts of the box and whisker. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to do number 2. When you're done, hit play and then we'll go over it together. Now that you've gone over it on your own, let's see how you did. So number 2, the number of iTunes downloaded by 25 students in 1 week ranges from 15 to 55. The box and whisker plot below depicts this data. So for this data, what is the minimum number of iTunes downloaded? So this actually, you can see it goes 10, 20. So in between here would be 15, 25, 35, 45, and 55. So if it's easier, you can definitely fill those in. So the minimum number we know is that first dot, which is right here. So that's going to be at 15. What is the maximum number of iTunes downloaded? So let's take a look. Maximum is this last dot here. So that's going to be 55. What is the number of iTunes at the 25th percentile? So let's take a look here. The 25th percentile. Remember, that's the same thing as saying the first quartile, and we did talk about that. So 25th percentile, here it is. Let's see, 20. So that means that there is 20 iTunes in the 25th percentile. For D, what is the number of iTunes at the 50th percentile? If we take a look at our notes, another way to say the 50th percentile was the median. And we know the median is right here. So that would be 25. For E, what is the number of iTunes at the 75th percentile? So the 75th percentile would be at the 3rd quartile. So that would be right here, and that would be 40. So I don't think this is too bad. So today we are just going to be identifying the parts of the box and whisker, and tomorrow you're going to be creating your own box and whisker plot.